This video is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research.
From UFOs to weird things we know, it's time for that paranormal, strange, phenomenal show. Biometric wars, a prison planet run by the man. It's time for the Tinfoil Canadian. Take off your hose!
Hello, fellow foilers, and welcome once again to the Tinfoil Canadian, the show that tries to propel humanity forward, together as a planet, not as a nation. On today's episode, we ask the questions, will Elon's plan to build a moon city be thwarted by aliens who may already live there? Is the moon hollow? And is it an artificial space station for aliens who watch over us, or perhaps even imprison us? Hop on the old rover and hold on to your toques as we take a step for humanity and see why Elon's moon city will most likely fail.
Dude, this is actually insane if you have not heard about this yet. Elon Musk just quietly abandoned the mission to take over Mars and he pivoted SpaceX entirely to build a city on the moon instead. This literally just happened. Elon Musk posted on X saying that SpaceX is shifting its focus to building a self-growing city on the moon. And by the way, to tear him up real quick, in 2016 he said that humans would be on Mars by 2024. In 2020 he said that humans would be on Mars by 2026. Last year he said that there was a 50-50 chance of launching to Mars this year, and now he's saying that humans will be on Mars by 2031. So what happened there? A lot of people don't know this, but SpaceX actually has a $2.89 billion contract with NASA right now for the Artemis moon landing. NASA officially opened the contract to competitors last October because SpaceX is not hitting their deadlines on time. SpaceX is still saying that Mars is a long-term mission, but they've also been saying that for the past 10 years, so who knows? No matter what happens here, we're all going to be able to watch the Artemis launch to the moon together whenever it happens on live stream, so make sure you go ahead and add me now so you don't miss it.
I must say that when I was young in the 90s, I always expected us to be living on the moon by 2020, perhaps even inhabit Mars by 2030. It is a little sad to see we will not achieve those goals, but I also feel there are way more important things to be doing on our planet with the billions of dollars it will take to one day reach the moon. How do you guys feel about building cities on the moon and maybe Mars one day?
This is gonna keep you up while you sleep tonight. The hollow moon theory. Our moon really doesn't make sense when you look at the facts. Like, it shouldn't exist. The moon is about 25% of Earth's size, the biggest moon to planet ratio of our entire solar system. Pluto's not a planet, that doesn't count. That's 72 times larger than the expected average moon to planet ratio of our solar system. Moons are just not supposed to be this big relative to their home planet, but sure, maybe we got lucky. Despite this, the moon is only 1% of Earth's mass. 1%, meaning it is way lighter than it's expected to be, and we really don't even know why. Unless, of course, the moon is either extremely porous like a sponge or a hollow shell. When looking at this data, NASA's own Dr. Gordon McDonald even said himself it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere. But oh, that's just the tip and we ain't stopping. Our moon's orbit is way closer than that of any of the other over 400 moons in our solar system and also has a near perfectly circular orbital path. We don't see this on any other planet, which all have moons with wildly eccentric orbits. Our moon also coincidentally appears as the exact same size as the sun in our sky. Despite our sun having a diameter 400 times larger than the moon just so happens to be exactly 400 times closer to us, defying all odds of randomness, but is officially deemed just a cosmic coincidence. The moon also happens to be tidally locked with our planet, meaning its rotational period is the same as its orbital period around the Earth, which is why the same side is always facing us. This one is not so much a coincidence, as tidally locked moons are actually fairly common in our solar system. But it would also be the perfect excuse for the moon to always look the same in our sky and for us to never see what's on the other side, like an all-seeing eye that never ceases surveillance of our planet. We don't even know for sure how our moon even got there in the first place. The most common explanation is that the early Earth collided with a massive protoplanet called Theia about 4.5 billion years ago, which was thought to be roughly the size of Mars, and the impact caused the resulting debris to coalesce and eventually form the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. There's also the fission hypothesis, where an early molten Earth was spinning so fast that a part of it got ejected out into space and became the moon. The capture theory, implying the moon just drifted by Earth and was captured by its gravity. And the accretion theory, suggesting that as the early Earth was forming in its accretion disk, a part of that disk clumped together to become the moon. But when studying rock samples from the surface of the moon, we find out that none of these theories quite make any sense, with other NASA scientists like Dr. Robin Brett further quoted as saying, "It seems much easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than its existence. Like on Earth, the newest rocks are on the surface, and the deeper we go, the older the rocks get, as we would naturally expect to be the case. On the moon, it's the other way around. Soil samples from the moon confirm that older rocks are on the surface, and they get younger the deeper we go. The only time we ever see this inverse relationship of rock layer depth to rock age on Earth is through human interaction, like drilling, digging holes, and boring tunnels. Did the same thing happen on the moon? If the moon was hollowed out from the inside, this older inner rock would be brought up to the surface, and this observation would make sense. The lunar crust is also thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth and thicker on the dark side of the moon, and researchers still have no idea why. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, much the same as other planets' moons, but strangely, moon rock samples are strongly magnetized. Craters on the moon are all virtually the same depth, no matter how big or small they are. On Earth, bigger craters naturally go much deeper than smaller ones, as the impact was greater. Not on the moon, almost like there's a solid layer underneath preventing the crater from going too deep. Moon rocks are also much older than the oldest rocks on Earth by millions of years, blowing the fission hypothesis and accretion theory out of the water. The moon contains traces of uranium-236, a radioactive isotope that doesn't occur naturally on Earth, but rather through the highly complicated scientific process of nuclear fission, something that only an intelligent species is capable of. Zirconium, chromium, and titanium are all relatively rare Earth metals, but are somehow quite abundant on the moon. Those three elements are also some of the most durable and corrosive resistant that we know of, perfect for building a massive structure. And they've even done quantifiable experiments that tell us that's exactly what the moon might be. When Apollo 12 was leaving the moon's orbit, they intentionally dropped their lunar lander down to the surface. When it crashed, seismic measurements showed that the moon reverberated and rang like a bell for an hour. They did not expect this. Only hollow objects are expected to reverb like this, especially with something as small as a lunar lander. During Apollo 13, they tested that again with a much larger object, dropping a spent Saturn V booster rocket that impacted the lunar surface. This time, the moon rang for 3 hours, with vibrations going as deep as 32 kilometers beneath the surface, and even got faster the deeper they got. This doesn't happen on Earth, or even solid objects for that matter, and again is only expected to occur on something hollow.
I had no idea the moon rocks near the surface are older than the ones found deeper down. Are the uranium traces and other non-corrosive rare elements found proof that the moon is actually a construct?
So the moon is not only hollow, but an artificial spacecraft that came here a long time ago. At least according to two Soviet scientists who carefully analyzed all the data brought back from the moon in 1970. They even published an article about it in Sputnik magazine titled "Is the Moon Creation by Alien Intelligence?" But this wasn't the first time this idea was suggested, as ancient myths all talk about the moon and have something very interesting to say about it. If you go back far enough, eventually you get to one thing that many myths agree on: a time before the moon was here. The Proselynes is a period written by Roman and Greek authors about a people called the Arcadians, who were here before there was a moon in the heavens. In Bolivia, on the other side of the world, the ancient Tiwanaku also write about the same period, a time before there was a moon, and that it arrived here around 13,000 years ago. In Africa, the Zulu people have legends that explicitly state the moon is hollow, was brought into orbit by dragons, and is inhabited by reptilian beings. Yup, we're back in lizard people territory. And that there was a time when the entire earth was covered by a thick blanket of water vapor, so much that you could barely see the sun. When the moon arrived, all this water vapor pooled together on Earth's surface, causing a global flood that restarted civilization. Sounds familiar. And that it also stabilized the climate and changed the tides of the ocean, which, mind you, this was written thousands of years ago. We didn't even know about the moon's effects on our tides until more recent times. Now lately, official reports by professional astronomers have seen some crazy shit on the moon that we just can't explain. On March 7th, 1971, while observing the moon, a cloud of water vapor vapor randomly appeared on the surface. It covered roughly 260 square kilometers and stayed there for over 14 hours. No explanation. We have multiple individual reports of astronomers seeing a glowing mist on the moon, all on separate occasions. All of these independent sightings were reported coming from the same spot, the Plato crater. Flashing lights with no explanation on the moon are surprisingly nothing new, as astronomers have been reporting them for hundreds of years. Today, NASA officially reports over 2,000 sightings of light flashes on the moon since 554 AD that couldn't be explained and still continue to this day. These flashing lights and mist on the moon were so common they were even given a name, transient lunar phenomena, TLP. Like the infamous blue gem, a glowing blue light that was seen out of the Aristarchus crater on the moon in 1992 and has been seen many times since. Close-up satellite photos of the lunar surface very frequently show physical anomalies that can't be explained as natural formations, much like we see on Mars, like tall spires, much too high to be naturally forming, as confirmed by both Boeing and NASA scientists themselves. Strange structures with straight edges, perfect angles, squares, circles, and massive glowing objects that look nothing like their surrounding environments. Some of these discoveries even made front-page news of major publications, but were later denied by all media and even photoshopped out of official photos. And not surprisingly, the majority of these anomalous structures were found on the dark side of the moon, the side that we can't see from Earth, almost like they're intentionally being hidden from us. Leading experts like US Air Force photo technician Carl Wolf noticed these himself and insists that artificial structures very much exist on the moon, which today these photos are either edited out or no longer available from NASA, who claim them to be just optical illusions. Not to mention the dozens of ultra-zoomed amateur videos of orbs and other crafts seen flying on and around the moon. Like, what is going on there? I really gotta get me one of those telescopic zoom cameras and try this out myself. All of these strange, unexplainable moon phenomena and characteristics kind of make it seem like the moon isn't the empty, desolate body we think it is, but rather possibly inhabited by an intelligent species who conduct operations on, or more likely below, the lunar surface. Perhaps even being some sort of massive, hollowed-out spacecraft that came here a long, long time ago and sits in perfect orbit around us, watching our every move. Let's be real, NASA. That's no moon now, is it?
What do you guys think about the hollow moon theory? Could the moon actually be only 13,000 years old? That would correspond with the Younger Dryas period. What are the strange flashing lights on the moon? Is the moon an observation tower for a prison planet? Are there actually structures on the moon?
I was interested in how the whole process functioned, how the data got from the lunar orbiter to the laboratory. I asked the young man if he'd describe the process to me. He did. About 30 minutes into the process, he said to me in a very distressed way, "By the way, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon." And then he proceeded to put photographs down in front of me, and clearly in these photographs were structures, mushroom-shaped buildings, spherical buildings, and towers. And at that point, I was very concerned because I knew we were working on compartmentalized security. He had breached security, and I was actually frightened at that moment. And I did not question him any further. And a few moments later, someone did come into the room. I worked there for 3 more days, and I remember going home and naively thinking, I can't wait to hear about this on the evening news. And here it is, more than 30 years later, and I hope we hear about it tonight. And I will testify under oath before Congress that what I'm saying is the truth.
Can we verify the claim that Mr. Wolf is making? Do you think they will disclose that there are beings on the moon this year? What other proof can we find that life is already living on the moon, and that we are not being told the full story by NASA and the astronauts who have been into space?
I knew someone in quarantine with the Apollo astronauts. He told me that the Apollo astronauts saw crap on the moon when we landed. And that is what he told me. He said that the astronauts are told to keep this quiet. They're not allowed to talk about it. My name is Donna Hare, and I worked at Philco Ford Aerospace from 1967 to 1981. I had a secret clearance, which is not that high, but I was able to go into restricted areas. I was talking to one of the techs in there, and he drew my attention to a photograph. It had a dot on it, and I said, "What is that? Is that a dot on the emulsion?" And he said, "Round dots on the emulsion don't leave round shadows on the ground." And this was an aerial photograph of the Earth, I'm assuming the Earth, because it had pine trees on it, and the shadows of the craft, or whatever it was, were in the same angle as the trees. I realized at this point that it's very secret, that it was kept secret, because I asked him, what are you going to do with this piece of information? And he said, we always airbrush these out before we sell them to the public. So they're pesky little creatures appearing on this photograph they wanted to get rid of. After that, I decided I would ask questions to other people. A guard told me that he was asked to burn some photographs and not to look at them. And there was another guard guarding him, who was in green fatigues, watching him burn the photographs. And he said he was too tempted. He looked at one, and it was a picture of a UFO. He immediately was hit in the head, and he had a big gash in his forehead. He was knocked out, and he's terrified, so he would have to be protected.
How many people will we need to forgive that has helped keep the truth about the aliens in our skies and on our moon in the next few years?
Is the moon occupied? This was allegedly recorded on a high magnification telescope and posted online. They would be massive spacecraft, estimated between 30 and 50 kilometers in size. Motherships. Is this real or CGI or AI nonsense? Is this what we were really investigating with the Artemis 2 missions?
What the f*** is that light moving by the moon? Well, I'm recording it.
Are you? Hell yeah. I'm trying to tell you.
You didn't say anything about that. You were just saying, look at the moon.
Keep this star in mind. Well, I am convinced that there is already something living inside the moon. Why did Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin look so worried and depressed at the press conference after they returned from a successful trip, if this were not truly the case? My guess is that I think that we foilers may have learned some of the truth about the moon today. How about you guys? It is clearly occupied already. Perhaps we should focus on keeping each other fed and sheltered before going to the moon as a species. That is all the time for this episode, fellow foilers. If you have an idea for an episode, feel free to comment here or leave a message on the Tinfoil Canadian Facebook page. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more strange and bizarre videos that make you wonder how long we have been living the lie. Until then, stay cool and be nice to your neighbor, eh?